Investigate your world. Apply your mind to it. Examine it critically. Scrutinize every idea about it. That will do. My experience is that everything is bliss, but the desire for bliss creates pain. Thus, bliss becomes the seed of pain. The entire universe of pain is born of desire. Give up the desire for pleasure, and you will not even know what pain is. For the sake of pleasure, you are committing many sins, and the fruits of sin are suffering and death. If the world is false, then God's plan and God are also false. Your mistake lies in your belief that you are born. You were never born, nor will you ever die. Salvation is to see things as they are. My guru said, "Deny existence to everything except yourself. Through desire you have created the world with its pains and pleasures. Pain is the background of pleasure. All seeking of pleasure is born in pain and ends in pain. It is the mind that is dull or restless, not you. Look, all kinds of things happen in this room. Do I cause them to happen? They just happen. So it is with you. The role of destiny unfolds itself and actualizes the inevitable. You cannot change the course of events, but you can change your attitude. And what really matters is the attitude and not the bare event. The world is the abode of desires and fears. You cannot find peace in it. For peace, you must go beyond the world. The root cause of the world is self-love. Because of it, we seek pleasure and avoid pain. Replace self-love by love of the self, and the picture changes. Brahma, God the Creator, is the sum total of all desires. The world is the instrument for their fulfillment. Souls take whatever pleasure they desire and pay for them in tears. Time squares all accounts. The law of balance reigns supreme. A day will come when you have amassed enough and must begin to build. Then, sorting out and discarding are absolutely necessary. Everything must be scrutinized, and the unnecessary ruthlessly destroyed. Believe me, there cannot be too much destruction, for in reality nothing is of value. Be passionately dispassionate. That is all. My stand I take where nothing is. Words do not reach there, nor thoughts. To the mind it is all darkness and silence. Then consciousness begins to stir and wakes up the mind, which projects the world, built of memory and imagination. Once the world comes into being, all you say may be so. It is in the nature of the mind to imagine goals, to strive towards them, to seek out means and ways, to display vision, energy, and courage. These are divine attributes, and I do not deny them. But I take my stand where no difference exists, where things are not, nor the mind that creates them. There, I am at home. Whatever happens does not affect me. Things act on things, that is all. Free from memory and expectation, I am fresh, innocent, wholehearted. Mind is the great worker, and it needs rest. Needing nothing, I am unafraid. Whom to be afraid of? There is no separation. We are not separate selves. There is only one self, the absolute supreme reality, in which the personal and the impersonal are one. Even a small desire can start a long line of action. What about a strong desire? Desire can produce a universe. Its powers are miraculous. Just as a small matchstick can set a huge forest on fire, so does a desire light the fires of manifestation. The very purpose of creation is the fulfillment of desire. The desire may be noble or ignoble. Space is very neutral. One can fill it with what one likes. You must be very careful as to what you desire. And as to the people you want to help, they are in their respective worlds for the sake of their desires. There is no way of helping them except through their desires. You can only teach them to have right desires, so that they may rise above them and be free from the urge to create and recreate worlds of desires, abodes of pain and pleasure. Just as a sleeping man forgets all and wakes up for another day, or he dies and emerges into another life, so do the worlds of desire and fear dissolve and disappear. But the universal witness, the absolute supreme self, never sleeps and never dies. Eternally, the great heart beats, and at each beat, a new universe comes into being. He is beyond all that the mind conceives. He is beyond being and not being. He is the yes and no to everything, beyond and within, creating and destroying, unimaginably real. God is the all-doer. The Jnani is a non-doer. God himself does not say, "I am doing all." To him, things happen by their own nature. To the Jnani, all is done by God. He sees no difference between God and nature. Both God and the Jnani know themselves to be the immovable center of the movable, the eternal witness of the transient. The center is a point of void, and the witness a point of pure awareness. They know themselves to be as nothing. Therefore, nothing can resist them. Being nothing, I am all. Everything is me. Everything is mine. Just as my body moves by my mere thinking of the movement, so do things happen as I think of them. Mind you, I do nothing. I just see them happen. I accept and am accepted. I am all, and all is me. Being the world, I am not afraid of the world. Being all, what am I to be afraid of? Water is not afraid of water, nor fire of fire. Also, I am not afraid because I am nothing that can experience fear or can be in danger. I have no shape nor name. It is attachment to a name and shape that breeds fear. I am not attached. I am nothing. And nothing is afraid of no thing. On the contrary, everything is afraid of the nothing. For when a thing touches nothing, it becomes nothing. It is like a bottomless well. Whatever falls into it disappears. Is God a person? As long as you think yourself to be a person, he too is a person. When you are all, you see him as all. Can I change facts by changing attitude? The attitude is the fact. Take anger. I may be furious, pacing up and down the room. At the same time, I know what I am, a center of wisdom and love, an atom of pure existence. All subsides and the mind merges into silence. Still, you are angry sometimes. With whom am I to be angry? And for what? Anger came and dissolved on my remembering myself. It is all a play of gunas, qualities of cosmic matter. When I identify myself with them, I am their slave. When I stand apart, I am their master. Can you influence the world by your attitude? By separating yourself from the world, you lose all hope of helping it. How can it be? All is myself. Can't I help myself? I do not identify myself with anybody in particular, for I am all, both the particular and the universal. Can you then help me, the particular person? But I do help you always from within. Myself and yourself are one. I know it, but you do not. That is all the difference, and it cannot last. And how do you help the entire world? Mahatma Gandhi is dead, yet his mind pervades the earth. The thought of a Jnani pervades humanity and works ceaselessly for good. Being anonymous, coming from within, it is the more powerful and compelling. That is how the world improves, the inner aiding and blessing the outer. When a Jnani dies, he is no more, in the same sense in which a river is no more when it merges into the sea. The name, the shape are no more, but the water remains and becomes one with the ocean. When a Jnani joins the universal mind, all his goodness and wisdom become the heritage of humanity and uplift every human being. Unmanifested, manifested, individuality, personality, all these are mere words, points of view, mental attitudes. There is no reality in them. The real is experienced in silence. You cling to personality, but you are conscious of being a person only when you are in trouble. When you are not in trouble, you do not think of yourself. You did not tell me the uses of the unmanifested. Surely, you must sleep in order to wake up. You must die in order to live. You must melt down to shape anew. You must destroy to build, annihilate before creation. The Supreme is the universal solvent. It corrodes every container. It burns through every obstacle. Without the absolute denial of everything, the tyranny of things would be absolute. The Supreme is the great harmonizer, the guarantee of the ultimate and perfect balance of life in freedom. It dissolves you and thus reasserts your true being. The daily life is a life of action. Whether you like it or not, you must function. Whatever you do for your own sake accumulates and becomes explosive. One day it goes off and plays havoc with you and your world. When you deceive yourself that you work for the good of all, it makes matters worse. For you should not be guided by your own ideas of what is good for others. A man who claims to know what is good for others is dangerous. How is one to work then? Neither for yourself nor for others, but for the work's own sake. A thing worth doing is its own purpose and meaning. Make nothing a means to something else. Bind not. God does not create one thing to serve another. Each is made for its own sake. Because it is made for itself, it does not interfere. You are using things and people for purposes alien to them, and you play havoc with the world and yourself. You are always the Supreme, but your attention is fixed on things, physical or mental. When your attention is off a thing and not yet fixed on another, in the interval, you are pure being. How does one bring to an end this sense of separateness? By focusing the mind on the I am, on the sense of being. I am so-and-so dissolves. I am a witness only remains, and that too submerges in I am all. Then the all becomes the one, and the one yourself, not to be separate from me. Abandon the idea of a separate I, and the question of whose experience will not arise. You speak of my experience as different from your experience because you believe we are separate, but we are not. On a deeper level, my experience is your experience. Dive deep within yourself, and you will find it easily and simply. Go in the direction of I am. When I see something pleasant, I want it. Who exactly wants it? The self or the mind? The question is wrongly put. There is no who. There is desire, fear, anger, and the mind says, "This is me. This is mine." There is no thing which could be called me or mine. Desire is a state of the mind, perceived and named by the mind. Without the mind perceiving and naming, where is desire? Naming cannot go beyond the mind, while perceiving is consciousness itself. When somebody dies, what exactly happens? Nothing happens. Something becomes nothing. Nothing was. Nothing remains. Why do you fret at one man dying and care little for the millions dying every day? Entire universes are imploding and exploding every moment. Am I to cry over them? One thing is quite clear to me. All that is, lives and moves and has its being in consciousness. And I am in and beyond that consciousness. I am in it as the witness. I am beyond it as being. Surely you care when your child is ill, don't you? I don't get flustered. I just do the needful. I do not worry about the future. A right response to every situation is in my nature. I do not stop to think what to do. I act and move on. Results do not affect me. I do not even care whether they are good or bad. Whatever they are, they are. If they come back to me, I deal with them afresh. Or rather, I happen to deal with them afresh. There is no sense of purpose in my doing anything. Things happen as they happen, not because I make them happen, but it is because I am that they happen. In reality, nothing ever happens. When the mind is restless, it makes Shiva dance. Like the restless waters of the lake make the moon dance. It is all appearance, due to wrong ideas. Just as the taste of salt pervades the great ocean, and every single drop of seawater carries the same flavor, so every experience gives me the touch of reality, the ever-fresh realization of my own being. Do I exist in your world as you exist in mine? Of course, you are, and I am, but only as points in consciousness. We are nothing apart from consciousness. This must be well grasped. The world hangs on the thread of consciousness. No consciousness, no world. There are many points in consciousness. Are there as many worlds? Take dream for an example. In a hospital, there may be many patients, all sleeping, all dreaming, each dreaming his own private, personal dream, unrelated, unaffected, having one single factor in common: illness. Similarly, we have divorced ourselves in our imagination from the real world of common experience and enclosed ourselves in a cloud of personal desires and fears, images and thoughts, ideas and concepts. All the dreams are superimposed over a common world. To some extent, they shape and influence each other. The basic unity operates in spite of all. At the root of it all lies self-forgetfulness, not knowing who I am. Cling to one thing that matters. Hold on to I am and let go all else. This is sadhana, spiritual practice. In realization, there is nothing to hold on to and nothing to forget. Everything is known, nothing is remembered.